Today we will be talking about software for Bible study. So let me read what we have in our notes and we will begin. Software to install is called eSword. You can download it by going to this site. You see it on the right side of your screen. It's a www.e-sword.net. It's right here. You see this address. So if you go here and then you can just click download, which is right here, and then it lets you download for Windows, and I'm not sure if it's available for Apple, Mac, iPad and iPhone, and you can go there by clicking these, I guess. It may be, I'm not really sure if you have to pay for those versions or not, but the version for Windows is free. Once you install this, once you click here, it will ask you to install. You can save the file and install the whole thing, and then once you do that, you will have program like this one. Let me take away this. So that's the program eSword that you see. So you download it, and if you have downloaded and installed any software, you can do it with ease. And the King James version with strong numbers, I think it would be included in there. So you may use any other software that you can get on your own, or you may already have your own software. If so, you can use those. The main purpose will remain the same. You will have tools that will help you in studying the Bible. I explained the installation process of the software and the modules in the other YouTube video of our lesson. That was in Russian, I think, but I'm not going to go into details in this one because I'm going to show you how to install the modules, but I'm not going to be talking about the installation of the whole software, because it's just downloading and clicking and following the directions. It's easy, I think, but if you have questions you can always ask. But if you have ever downloaded and installed any program, you already know what to do. List of resources that you will need to install on eSword. So let's focus on this some more. You see in the I said that you need to have King James version with Strong's numbers included in the latest version of eSword. So we have it right here. Here's our eSword, and this right here, you see this window, and on top you see the different versions that I have available for this moment. So if I click this, I see the King James version with Strong's numbers, and Strong's numbers are these numbers that are in green in the software. You see it, and I'm not sure if you see the you don't see the pop-up window that when you hover on top of the words numbers, Strong's numbers, it already gives you some info. But if you click on it, you see it right here. I hope that you see it right here. So I click this H120, and it says H120 here. This is the Hebrew, and this is the English transliteration, and it means Adam, and it's from this word. It means ruddy, that is human being, an individual or the species, mankind, etc. Another Hebrew, and the different versions of it. Common sort, man, person, and it is from this root, which is right here above. You can click it and see that show blood in the face, that is flush or turn rosy. So red or ruddy mean basically the word Adam means red, reddish, in a different way, because he was taken from the red earth. You can read that in the Genesis. Now, so let me explain a little bit of the software. Once you install it, you have the Bible books and their names right here, so you can scroll up and down, and all the Bibles, all the books of the Bible are included in the order they appear in English, which is King James version, we could say, because it's somewhat different for Russian, and it may be different for other languages, but you can find them here. So when you click on any of them, it's going to show the number of chapters here. For Jude, that has, for example, Jude has only one chapter. If you click on it, it's going to show only one, and then when you click it on this side, you will see the Jude's epistle. Since it's one chapter, you just see everything that he has in here. And then whenever you have commentaries, and if you look over here, Jude 1 and 1 is highlighted, and over here we see that one commentary is also goes to Jude 1 and 1. If you click verse 2, it changes to verse 2, 3, and so forth. Sometimes they may not have anything, the commentary may not have anything on the verse. Then you can go over here. See, it says display verse comments right now, and then this one display chapter comments. If you click on it, it will give you the comments on the whole chapter, like that. And if you click here, it's going to display book comments, everything about the book, like maybe it's like a introduction, and verse goes in more deeper into each verse. All right, and then over here you have dictionaries over here. So far we have Strong's Hebrew and Greek dictionaries, because that's what King James Version came with them together, with the eSword. And then over here you have journal notes, study notes, topic notes. That's like your area where you can cut and paste or copy and paste different kinds of stuff and prepare your preachings and things like that. That's basically it, and you can go into more detail. But this was King James Version with Strong's number, and any version of the Bible that you like to compare, but stick to the literal translations like King James or NASB. Old Russian Bible is literal translation also. And if you speak Spanish, that would be Reina Valera. If you speak Ukrainian, I have this by Ivan Ogienko. I think that was also excellent translation. And then you may want to have Young's literal translation. And it's easy to compare because there's a thing that says compare. When you click on it, it says Jude 1 and 1, and then gives me all the open Bibles that I have, and you can compare them side by side. Now, let's say if you have only King James with Strong's number and you want to download other modules, you would click download Bibles, and then you will get a unfortunately it doesn't give me that. Let me try to add just a moment. Let me try to get the pop-up for this one, because it's not showing pop-up Windows module downloader. Okay, alright, let's do that. Now we see it all right here. Hopefully you do it too. You see that. So once I clicked download Bibles, this module downloader, open it up, and now we see the Bibles right here. If you want to go to commentaries, you click here, then dictionaries, devotions, graphics, reference books. Alright, so let's go back to Bibles, and let's say you want to download some Bible, and you can see there's the English, so language of the Bible, English, and then over here it says that it is free, and then different versions when they are published and so forth. If you want to, let's say, download or include American Standard Version, you would click here and it would be included right over here. See, if that's all you needed, you could go to download, start, and then it will download this whole thing. And if you restart your software eSword, you will see the Bible that you just downloaded on top over here. But I'm not gonna download it because I don't need this, so I'm gonna clear it. Let's say if you needed different languages, or let's scroll down. These are all different kinds, and these show me that that's the version I have installed, the ones that are not highlighted with blue. So you may want to include Young's literal translation unless it's already there, because it shows you literal translation of the Bible, and it's sometimes good to compare. Now we have premium, which means you have to pay for these, and if you don't want to pay for these, you don't have to download it, you don't have to do anything. Now we have English anglicized. I'm not sure what that means. Probably, I'm not really sure, Catholic, some kind of Bible or something. So, and it's for you need to pay for this. Now there's Old English. Now there's King James Bible with Apocrypha. If you're interested in apocryphal books, you may want to download these. Then different languages: French, German. Let's see, I think there was something before, before English. There's Afrikaans, Albanian, Arabic, and so forth. So if you download, you can find probably one that you need. There's Russian that I installed already, Serbian, Somali, Spanish, Swedish, Turkish, Ukrainian. That's the one I downloaded. So that's how you would add Bibles. Now let's go back to our list and see what else do we need to have. Robertsons word pictures. So we need to have Robertsons word pictures. Now let me add this and this. Alright, so we're gonna go to commentaries, and by default it goes to English, and we're gonna look for Robertsons. What was it? Robertsons word pictures. Okay, so we're gonna go down, and this one right here. And here it says in a different way, word pictures in the New Testament, A.T. Robertson. So if you make it bigger, let me check if you see it in the over there. Sorry, it's right here. This one right here. I'm gonna highlight it. No, I can't. Well, I am going. I'm showing you with the mouse so you can see. I think word pictures in the New Testament, A.T. Robertson. So you would click on it, then don't do anything yet. Then we need to have Vincent's word pictures, and it is right here next to it. It says word studies in the New Testament, M.R. Vincent. So we're gonna include that. Word studies. So it seems that over here it needs to say Vincent's word studies. Yeah, right. And the next one is treasure of scriptural knowledge. Now let's check and see where it might be. Treasure of scriptural knowledge. It's next to it, and you see it right here. Then we have Brown-Driver-Briggs Hebrew definitions, and that would be under dictionaries. So if you clicked on these three, you just go ahead and click dictionaries, and you have the first one. It says BDB right here, and since it's installed for me, we don't have it's not highlighted, so you would click on it. Then next important thing would be Thayer's Greek definitions, which is, if you go down, it's right here. Thayer's Greek definitions. Just click on those. And then again, there are different devotions, free, and the ones that you pay. If you have money to buy and you want to buy, I would recommend Kenneth Wiest. I think it would be under commentaries probably. Wiest's word studies, that would be wonderful if you want to buy this one, or you can order it in Barnes and Nobles. Devotions, there are some graphics, different kinds of maps. If you're interested, you can click on them, add to your Bible, and they are free. Then reference books, different kinds of books. Ante-Nicene Fathers, these are really big books, but they are important if you want to learn the history of the church. Antiquities of the Jews, their culture, and different creeds, what Christians believed, and different. And the Fox's Book of Martyrs, very important. You may want to get, and others, it's up to you if you want to get them or not. Some War of the Jews, some may be good for you, some may not be so good. It's up to you. So once you do that, you can go over here and then click Start. I'm not sure if you can see it. Let me get rid of, no, sorry, right here. You would click Download, and then you can click Start, and it will show you the progress. It will download, and then once you close it, it will ask you to restart your eSword program. And once you restart, those resources will be available for you. Now, let's say you got them all. You got your maps, graphics, any other resources that you think will be helpful, or you are just interested in them. Alright, let's say you got them, and now we're going to look at different tasks and see why we need them. Let's go to Genesis. Let's look at chapter 2, and I want to just show you, let's say, let's look at Genesis 2 and 4 in King James. You can read without numbers because they are in a way usually, but then if you want to check each word, you just click here, and then the Strong's number is good because they show us the numbers for Old and New Testament. But for the Hebrew, we have Brown-Driver-Briggs Hebrew definitions, and then the Thayer Greek definitions would be for New Testament only. But these two other dictionaries sometimes would go deeper, so you may want to have those two different dictionaries that will give you more information on a particular word. So I clicked the word that was numbered H3068, and the way they're called Strong's Hebrew and Greek dictionaries because there was a man whose last name was Strong, and he numbered the words in the Bible, and he made a dictionary of them. But just like in a dictionary, he doesn't go too deep into the grammar. For example, if in English or in Russian you have the word let's say live, and then in a dictionary you will have just live, and then in a parenthesis usually it would write lives, living, or something. It will give you different ways that that verb may be used, but in a dictionary you will have only one entry for live and then the definitions. In the same way, it's similar here. It will not give you all the different ways the word is used. For example, if there's a word live, lives, living, all of them would be under one number for Strong's in a Strong's dictionaries. So you need to keep that in mind, because they don't give you everything that you need to know, but at least they can give you some more information than just the translation. So we're looking at the word Lord, which is capitalized in King James Version, and it is H3068. H because it stands for Hebrew, 3068. If it was Greek, then it would say G for Greek. And then here's how this word is spelled in Hebrew, and then that's how it sounds, or we think that that's how it sounds, Yehovah. And sometimes in English it's translated as Jehovah, and we see that it means Lord, and it was translated as Lord. But if you look at Jehovah, that's what Strong's number tells us, and it says that it comes from H1961. So if we click on it, no, it doesn't go. So we'll just look for it. So 1961, it's right here. Let's click on it. And so the word Jehovah or Yehovah comes from Haya. You see this Haya, which means to exist, that is be, become, come to pass, and so forth. You see, it has so many words connected to it. So Yehovah comes from the word Haya, and Haya means to live or to exist. That's why Yehovah means somebody who exists, which means there's no beginning or nor the end. That information comes from the grammar, not so much from the definition of the word. So let's go back to previous one, Yehovah, and we're gonna look also in Brown-Driver-Briggs Hebrew definitions. So we can just click on it, and whenever you see this blue circle with the eye in it, it means that that dictionary also has an entry for the same thing. These don't have I, which means they don't have any information on this Hebrew number. They may have entry for Jehovah, but not this. So you can, those are dictionaries that you can look up later. So now let's look what he says. Jehovah, the existing one, the proper name of the one true God, unpronounced except with the vowel pointing to H136, and that's something else. So in this case, we see that Jehovah means the existing one. That's what this dictionary says, and this one just gives us the self-existent or eternal. So we see whenever we combine the two dictionaries, we can come up with a deeper meaning of the word. Now let's look at the word God, H430, and the word is Elohim, plural of 433, which is right here. We'll look in a moment. Gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used in the plural, thus especially with the article of the supreme God. So the word Elohim means gods, but if it comes by the context, it can mean either supreme God or it could mean gods. So that's the beauty of the Hebrew. And only in a translation you will see either gods or God, but if you don't know the Hebrew, you wouldn't know that it's the same word. But the translators had to choose whether to say God or gods depending on the context. And also it says occasionally applied by way of difference to magistrates, which means leaders, or what was the word, to judges. and sometimes as a superlative, could mean angels, or it could mean God, gods, and so forth. And let's look at Brown-Driver-Briggs Hebrew definition. It says, if it's plural, it means rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, gods. Plural intensive singular meaning means God, goddess, godlike one, works or special possessions of God, the true God, God. So you can see that this dictionary BDB gives us much more stuff than the Strong's number. So it is good to have two different dictionaries that we can compare and contrast with each other, and we can understand much more from the text. Now our this one says that we need to check Proverbs 29, even though it's more connected to Russian. We'll just do it. Proverbs 29 and 26. 29 and 26. Let's do this. 26. It says, many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment comes from the Lord. If we look in the Russian one, for those of you that speak Russian, it says, многие ищут благосклонного лица правителя, но судьба человека от Господа. Literally, right, if you understand it right now, literally, the translations in Russian says, but the second part says, but the destiny of man is from God. But if you look in the King James, we just saw, it says not destiny but judgment, because back then in Russian word 160 years ago, this word meant judgment. Now it changed its meaning, and now this word means destiny. So we understand that that the Bible doesn't talk about destiny as we understand it, or like fate. Another word would be fate. Let's look in a dictionary. We see that judgment is right here, H4941. Mishpat means a verdict pronounced judicially, especially a sentence or formal decree, divine law, and so forth. And if you look at BDB, it will tell us it's a judgment, justice, ordinance, and so forth, act of deciding a case. So that's why if in many Russian churches you will hear people talking that God has your fate in his hands, but the way we understand this word fate is like whatever God decided is going to happen. If he decided you're gonna get sick and die, then that's what's gonna happen, and you can't do anything to change it. But the Bible doesn't teach fate. It says that whoever will come to be saved, to get grace and mercy from God, to get your answers from God. So there is no such thing as fate, because our fate without God is going to hell. But God says, if you want, if you will, turn to me and I will save you. Then our fate in a way changes. But basically this verse means that the final verdict that's pronounced judicially is from God. God will basically tell us if a person is saved or not saved, if a person will get a blessing or not. So we need to understand that, and whenever we look up words like this, then we understand a lot better what the word teaches. Now we're going to look at 1 John 3 and 6. Let's go to 1 John 3 and 6, chapter 3 and verse 6. And King James says, whosoever abides in him sins not. Whosoever sins has not seen him, neither known him. What does this verse mean? Does it mean that Christians cannot sin? And if we sin, does it mean we are not Christians? And then our note says we need to use RVP in Eastward. And RVP is right here, which means Robertsons Word Pictures. And I think that you can see it right here. John 3:6. Let's read what this man says. Sinnest not. And that's in parentheses is Greek, what it says in Greek. And the interesting part is that sinners, you see it's hamartano. I just want to show you. In Strong, it says hamartano, but properly it says hamartane over here. That's the point I was trying to make, that Strong doesn't give you every form of the verb or the nouns. It just gives us the infinitive type of the word, verb, whether it's a verb or a noun. But in these kind of commentaries, they tell us what they look like. And for not, it says ou, but then we see here OUNCH, which is probably pronounced like oak or something. Yeah, just like here, oak or ook. I'm not sure, but anyways, I just wanted to point that out too. Linear present, linear menon, keeps on abiding. Active indicative of hamartano, does not keep on sinning. Do you see this? So what John is saying is, whoever abides in Jesus, whoever is a Christian and abides in Jesus, does not keep on sinning. That's what the Greek grammar says. But whenever they translate, they were not able to show this idea, because otherwise they would be adding words, and that's why they did not want to do that, I guess. And that's how they translate it. Whoever abides in him sins not. Let's look at literal translation. Everyone who is remaining in him does not sin. So you see, even here they translate it in the same way. If you look in Russian, it says the same thing, same idea. But here the commentary tells us basically it means does not keep on sinning. So a Christian cannot keep on sinning. Either he has to repent, come back and fix that problem, or he has to go back to the world and get away from Christ. That's the two choices the person has. And you could say, well, I actually know somebody, or maybe I am the same way, that I keep sinning. I keep sinning, doing the same thing. And you need to understand, when it says keep sinning, it means same sin. It may happen to you if you don't really know what Jesus did for you, but once you know what Jesus has done for you, there's no way you can just keep on sinning and have pleasure in it. It's not going to be pleasurable, it's going to be miserable. And that's why you need to find out what Jesus did for you, who he is and what he did, and then you will get the power not to keep sinning. But even then, we need to understand that we will be sinning from time to time, and sometimes we may not even know that we are sinning. All right. Whosoever sins, present, linear, active, articular, participle, like menon above, the one who keeps on sinning. So the one who keeps on sinning has not seen him, neither known him. Lives a life of sin, not mere occasional acts of sin, as hamartesas, our active participle, would mean. You see the same word, the word to sin. Where is it? Says here hamartano. That's it. It means to sin, to miss the mark. But it says here, if it's hamartesas, it means one. It has one meaning. But if it's hamartane, it's totally different meaning. So this dictionary shows us the intricacies of the grammar of Greek. The grammar of Greek is so much complex and so much accurate than English or even German or Russian that has really flexible grammar. Greek is so much more complex, and probably that's the reason why God chose the Greek and prepared it for that period, so that they would have a language that is so um, complex and at the same time so flexible and at the same time so accurate. So unless we know that, there's no way we can understand some depth of the grammar or the word behind the translation, because the translation cannot give us the whole truth. I mean, not the whole truth, but cannot give us the depth of the original text, just like we see here. Because when you read, I'm sure you have read it sometimes, and you were asking yourself, could it be that I don't know Christ because I keep sinning? What's wrong with me? But there was nothing wrong with you. It was just the translation could not give you the whole picture. The habit of sin is proof that one has not the vision or the knowledge of Christ. He means, of course, spiritual vision and spiritual knowledge, not the literal sense of horao or the seeing. Alright, I think that this was really good for you to know that what this verse actually means. Now we're going to go to Galatians 1 and 8. Galatians 1 and 8. And we're going to answer the question, what's the meaning of anathema? And we're going to use Strong's numbers. In Russian it says anathema, right here, anathema. In not in Ukrainian, and in King James it says be accursed. Actually, it gives us the translation of it, so we'll just look up that word. The verse says, but though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. So let him be accursed. We'll see the word is anathema in Greek. So in Russian they just put the same word, but th they transferred as a letter F in Russian. A religious ban or concretely excommunicated thing or person, accursed, anathema, curse, so forth. Now for Hebrew we looked up BDB or Brown-Driver-Briggs Hebrew definitions, and that was only for Hebrew, which is Old Testament only. And for New Testament we're going to look also at Thayer's Greek definitions, because it has only Greek definitions, and the same word, it says a thing set up or laid by in order to be kept. Specifically an offering resulting from a vow which after being consecrated to a god was hung upon the wall or columns of the temple or put in some other conspicuous place. That was about idol worship. A thing devoted to God without hope of being redeemed, and if an animal to be slain, therefore a person or thing doomed to destruction. Could also mean a curse, a man accursed devoted to the direst of woes, which means somebody who would be forever separated from God. That is the meaning. And you can also look over here, let him be anathema. The Robertsons word picture says, see not on 1 Corinthians 12:3 for this word. And if we look at Vincent's word pictures, let's see accursed, see on Romans 9:3, and see on offering Luke 21:5. Compare katara, curse, or see in by Paul, always curse. The sense of a excommunication introduced by patristic rites does not appear in the New Testament. So it does not mean excommunicated or put out of the church, but it means accursed and being separate from God. Alright, we're going to look at 1 Corinthians 10:21. 1 Corinthians 10:21, and again this one is more for Russian, because in Russian we see that it says не можете быть участниками в трапезе Господней и в трапезе бесовской. So we want to look at the word trapeza and the meaning of it, and if you read you will see that trapeza means table. We're going to look up the word, and wonder of wonders, in Greek it says trapeza. So we see that in Russian they just transferred the same word because it doesn't just mean a table. We'll see. Literally it means table or stool, as being four-legged, usually for food, figuratively a meal, also a counter for money, figuratively a broker's office for loans at interest, bank, meet, table. Now let's look at Thayer's definition. It means table, a table on which food is placed, an eating place, the table in the temple of Jerusalem on which the consecrated loaves were placed, equivalent to the food placed upon the table, to set a table, put food before one, a banquet feast, a table or stand of money changer, where he sits exchanging different kinds of money for free and paying back with interest, loans, or deposits. And then let's see if they give us any words. Here table means as often what is on the table. You see, the word table actually means what is on the table, or the food which is on the table. So I think the same idea we still have with the word trapeza in Russian also, because it doesn't just mean the table, but it means also food on it and also the process of eating. So that would be interesting for those of you that speak and read Russian. Now we're going to look at Romans 1:17. That was also geared more towards Russian speaking guys, because in Russian it says 1:17. I'm sorry, 1:17. В нем открывается правда Божья от веры в веру. So we see the word правда, which now means truth, but if you look in King James you see that therein is the righteousness of God revealed. Not truth, but righteousness, and there's a big difference, because when you click on the word you see, let's look at the Strong's definitions first. He says equity, specifically Christian justification, righteousness. So the word righteousness is connected to justification because it has the same root in Greek and same way in Russian. But back then when they translated Russian, back then this word pravda, which now means truth, back then meant righteousness in the first place. So I just wanted to show it to our Russian speaking people. And in Thayer it means, in a broad sense, state of him who is as he ought to be, righteousness, the condition acceptable to God. And it gives us more stuff: integrity, virtue, purity of life, rightness, and so forth. And we're going to look at Matthew 5 and 3. Matthew 5 and 3. We're going to look at the word blessed. And the word in Greek is makarios, which means blessed, blessed or happy. And Thayer says blessed, happy, but we understand that there's a difference between blessed and happy, because when you're happy, you are happy to an external thing. You somebody gave you $1,000, yay, you are happy, or you have this and that and you are happy. But blessedness is something that is within and it's not connected to the outside. Even if Stephanus, for example, he was beaten to death, but he was blessed because he was saying, God, forgive them because they do not know what they are doing. Alright, now we're going to look at Matthew 13:35. 13 and 35. Let's see, what was the question? Who is the prophet? Oh, the word Makarios there's a Russian name Makar. So I just wanted to point that out, that there are a lot of Greek words that are in Russian language. Matthew 13:35, it says, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables, I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. Now, who is the prophet? That's the question, and we're going to use Vincent's word studies. So let's click on it, and then we're going to find out who is the prophet. Alright, the verb I will utter, the verb in which the sound corresponds to the sense, means originally to belch, to disgorge. Homer uses it of the sea surging against the shore. Pindar of the eruption of Etna. There seems to lie in the word a sense of full, impassioned utterance of a prophet. From the foundation, it is assumed by the psalmists. Okay, and then we see a reference to Psalm 78:2, that there was a hidden meaning in God's ancient dealings with his people. A typical, archetypical, and prefigurative element ran through the whole. The history of dealings is one long Old Testament parable. Things long kept secret and that were hidden indeed in the depth of the divine mind from before the foundation of the world, were involved in these dealings, and hence the evangelist wisely sees in the parabolic teaching of our Lord a real culmination of the older parabolic teaching of the psalmist. The culmination was divinely intended, and hence the expression that it might be fulfilled. Now let's look at what Robertsons also says. To cast forth like a river, to gurgle, to disgorge the passion of a prophet, from Psalm 19:2 and Psalm 78:2. The psalmist claims to be able to utter things hidden from the foundation of the world, and Matthew applies this language to the words of Jesus. Certain it is that the life and teaching of Jesus throw a flood of light on the purpose of God, long kept hidden. Now we haven't answered the question, who is the prophet, yet. We know that it's taken from Psalm 78:2. Let's click on it, and we go there and look over here. 78:1, mass kill of Asaph. So we understand that Asaph wrote this psalm, and he is named as the prophet. Okay, so when you read the Psalms, you may not even understand that Asaph he was a prophet, because he doesn't say, "Hey, I am a prophet," no, anywhere. There are some verses, like Psalms like this one, that were written by him, or there are some that were written for him, for his sons. But when you read the Psalms, you will not understand, or you will not get the idea that he was the prophet. But when you read this and you find out where this verse comes from, you understand that Asaph was called a prophet. So these were the things, the fulfillment of the words that were spoken by the prophet Asaph, even though he was the singer of the Psalms during the time of David. So we did everything over here, and I'm sure there are a lot more things that we could do, but I'm just gonna stop here, because this whole exercise was to familiarize you with different things, the dictionaries, commentaries that are out there that you can use to learn the Bible even more so. And then there's another similar resource, which is Blue Letter Bible. There's a website that you can use. There's an app for iPhone and Android phones that you can use. And the same software or the app has the similar tools that you can use to study the Bible. And another free software in Russian is Bible Code. You can get it by going to this site, which is jesuschrist.ru. under software section you can find the software for yourself. Now let us go to Firefox. I'm not sure why it's not showing. Well, I can't get it up here. I'm not sure why. Wow. Alright, anyways, I will have to stop right here because I wanted to show you the Blue Letter Bible in its website, but I can't seem to get there. But you see it right here. It's right here, blueletterbible.com, one word, and you can go there. You can click tools and it will give you different options, and you can look up the words in Greek or Hebrew just like we did today, and you can study the Bible and know it even more. So for now I will say goodbye to you, and may the Lord bless you in your studies. If you have any questions, you can contact me, and then we can talk more about this topic. Thank you for listening. God bless you.